Alrighty, welcome back to another video. This one is just an update of basically where my roster is right now after being kinda cheap to play, bordering around free to play. As you can see, my VIP pass has expired. I'm not sure if I want to get another VIP pass. I'll probably take a break from getting the VIP pass for the month. I'm not sure yet, but I thought I just wanted to show basically where I am right now in the game, and if there's any updates to my roster after being in Gypsy Danger for about 15 wars, and I'm currently right now leading Disciples of Scorpius after Vegeta retired. And well, we currently have 24 players, but the wars have been a bit tough. We faced aggressive, the number 2 alliance right now in the game. We faced them for some reason and we got destroyed. And when we faced Palm Elite as well, which were ranked number 7, I don't know how we managed to face them, but I do think that because of facing both of those alliances, we faced them both at around 28 to 30 members, and then because of that, I think some of those players, we got the backlash from it, and because of that, some players left, and now we're stuck at 24 right now. But yeah, well, that is what you get when you are trying to go a little bit casual, not too competitive. I kind of want to bring it to about top 30 and remain there. Don't really feel the need to go all the way to top 10 yet. I think it'll take some time before we get there. So what has changed since then? I think well, when I was in Gypsy Danger, I did get the top 10 alliance ranking, which gave us, I think, these two avatars, I think, right here. Yeah, as an alliance, we finished top 10. We did manage to get 2.3 million as it is required by the alliance, and we managed to hold on in the top 10 of the alliance quests, in order to get these two new avatars. Before that, yeah, these were the avatars, Koda avatar as well as the new knights. I kind of forgot his name, but that is about it. In terms of troops, so I am very behind in terms of legendary troops. I think most of the players, if you're aiming to be somewhat competitive and somewhat being able to hold your own in at the top, you're gonna need quite a lot of legendary troops, because remember that each legendary troop has like only 2 classes that are specific to them, and if you don't have the required classes for it, then you don't get this additional bonus in terms of stats, although it's still better than a 4-star. But as you can see from right here, these are the current ones that I have maxed. So I have 2 in each color except for blue. I still do not have a blue legendary troop, and I think I do have to wait for another 3 days before pulling it, before being able to pull another troop, convert another troop. And what I'm aiming for is this particular troop. I will be converting to this troop because I need a new legendary troop for tanking Nordica in wars. So that will be my next conversion, and that will put me at 9 legendary troops for the time being that I have maxed. The aim, I think, for me to be perfectly comfortable, I think I did the math. I do need about 20 to 25 legendary troops in order for me to distribute those troops to all my war attack teams. I think it was about 20 to 25. I don't remember the exact number. But yeah, these are basically my troops. So you can see from the conversion here, you can see the amount of maxed 4-star troops that I have. I did use a couple of them to convert. I did convert a red level 30 magic mana troop to get a red barbarian, and I barbarian legendary troop, and then I did manage to pull a red fighter cleric legendary troop. Same thing with green. I swapped it off for a druid barbarian, which was my first ever conversion. And right now I did convert a yellow one as well. So yellow, green, red were the conversions, I do believe. Yeah, I think it was something like that. And then now I'm going to convert a blue one. So it'll take a while. I mean, I do have sufficient level 30 troops in the 4 stars in order to convert them, and I think eventually we will all be using legendary troops except for tournaments. So that's in terms of troops. Now let's go and look at heroes. So right now, as of what's the date today? It's 27th of March. So it's as of 27th of March 2024. I have 152 maxed 5 stars, and 34 of them are double limit broken. So it starts all the way from Xie Zijing. I was pretty lucky to get Xie Zijing on a free pool. Nautica, I did the birthday summon portal, where you were able to choose the feature that you wanted, and after clearing the gems that I got as a bonus from the daily streaks, I had enough to do a 30 pull. It was my one and only 30 pull during the birthday summons, and I did get a Nautica from it, which I was pretty happy about. So those are the two new additions, I would say, into my roster. I think the main ones at any rate. I was pretty happy to get Christine in the challenge event, in the Opera challenge event that happened a couple of months back. I was pretty happy to get Christine. Still run Timaeus with the double fist coils up to a certain point, and then I will be testing out some new teams. So these, I think at the forefront of this, are basically 20 of the double limit broken ones. The ones that I've just recently double limit broken were Xie Zijing, Nautica, Cardinal as well. Cardinal, I finally managed to double limit break him. Pretty awesome to pair together with Brimstone and Ray in order to have a dispel early on, and then using Brimstone and Cardinal to basically put a lot of pressure in terms of fiends onto the war defense that I'm facing. I do believe, oh no, it's not 20, it's the top 25 or 24 heroes that I have double limit broken. So actually that might change the number a bit. I might not have 34, I might have 33 instead. So 1, 2, 3, 4, that's 20, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33. So yeah, I do have 33 double limit broken heroes, and I do not have any Alpha Eaters left, I think, in order to double limit break anyone. I'm not completely interested in double limit breaking a second Phron. I do have one Phron right now, and I think I'll save my Alpha Eaters for another for a different hero. Yeah, I only have one right now, which is pretty sad. Although, you know, it's possible if I get 9 more, then I can actually double limit break Phron as a green. So I do have enough. But I am currently leveling. I'll show what I'm leveling right after this. So, but basically, I do have a lot more heroes that I need to double limit break, especially if I'm using them in wars pretty often. Um, the main ones being, like, for example, Phantom of the Opera and Odette, which I have pretty good success with. Uh, Not too interested in double limit breaking Ginger right now, just because the green team that I have her on isn't doing too well. And then I have Thalassa as well, which I'm heavily considering to double limit break, just because of how good she is in terms of protecting um, protecting your team when you're using her as a support. But other than that, I mean, there's also 9-headed beast that I want to double limit break, as well as, like, Rochefort, just to make sure he can actually be functional in certain purple stacks. I did use the soul exchange, the recent soul exchange, to double limit break and the level and double limit break, and which I will be using in wars. I think I will start using Anne in the upcoming Undead Horde wars on Sunday. So hopefully she still remains relevant. I know her damage has pretty much fallen off, but I think I have an idea, a team idea, which I want to use and see whether she'll be, doing good. Freya's, Nolford, these are heroes that I'm contemplating to double limit break as well, because I want to try out Freya as a support with a legendary troop, to see whether her minions will help keep the team alive as well as a dodge. And I'm also contemplating double limit breaking my Guardian Gazelles. Just because I think Gazelle right now in the current meta is actually pretty useful against, heroes like Changi, heroes like Xie Zijing, where if she starts dancing, then the rest of the team is protected against the ailments that are coming from the journey heroes. And yeah, I am contemplating leveling a third Guardian Gazelle as well. I do have another 2 more that are unleveled. So I am considering leveling those as well. But I did obviously stall leveling the Guardian Gazelles for Anne, which I've managed to finish a couple of days ago. Pretty sad that Ruffian doesn't have enough stats. The stats that are on Ruffian, even though at double limit break, are just not enough to sustain through basically sustain against Xie Zijing right now, because I don't have a legendary troop for Ruffian. And I think Ruffian, heroes like Ruffian and the way I use Ruffian, he kind of benefits more with a magic troop rather than a legendary troop. I will still need to do testings to see whether I can get him to be functional using a legendary troop, because at 8 tiles that's going to be really difficult. Sif as well, it's someone that I'm contemplating bringing back into the fold, especially with some of these heroes hitting like hell. I can probably use Sif to try and negate some of their, make them kill themselves by the counter attack. Although she might fall off in value because of Xie Zijing and Timaeus, but we shall see. I don't have the Aethers right now, but she is part of the contemplation. Double race. I've never gotten a chance to actually limit break Julius. I think Julius is one of those that can be really strong especially in terms of the second charge, because fiends are one of the ways you could actually kind of restrict their healing and deal enough damage on them. Don't have enough Ice Eaters, so it'll take a while. Hell as well, I'm planning to at least limit break Hell to first limit break at least, so that I can actually use her. Pretty sad that Amethyst and Serendite don't really have much use right now, although Serendite might make a return, not sure yet. I was intending to double limit break Serendite, but ultimately chose to double limit break Cardinal Richelieu first. If I did not have Cardinal, I think Serendite would have been an easy double limit break. the previous Soul Exchange, the iteration before the latest one, I did choose Jabberwock, but ultimately I am saving up my ethers for the next purple project that I have. So, you know, I'll show that in a short while. I did have a discussion with some Alliance members and some friends as well that I might consider bringing back the Lu Bu, Liu Bei, and Sun Quan minion team. Maybe, who knows? But in order to do that, I definitely need to double limit break all three of them, because right now, as it is, Lu Bu stats, the three original Kingdom family War of the Three Kingdom heroes right now, if you were to use them in war, all three of them will deal next to 0 damage right now. Liu Bei might be the most functional, but without double limit breaks, the minions don't really stay alive too often, and it's actually really hard to use. So, this is part of the double limit break projects that I'm keeping in mind. And then as we move down, you can see these are some of the heroes that have been neglected just by the sheer the sheer amount of creep that has happened in the game. When I first played in Gypsy Danger, I think in the first war itself, I think all of these heroes are basically irrelevant right now, as long as you don't have double limit breaks and you don't have even a single limit break as well, and if you don't have a legendary troop. I think when I first started playing in GD, I went 15 wars in Gypsy Danger with only two or three legendary troops, and it was at the 15th war it started getting a bit too oppressive and a bit too demoralizing, just because I have the team set up well and I just couldn't survive. Like, once you can't survive the first wave of attacks that the defense is hitting you with, then it becomes really difficult to maintain and sustain through it, and you end up losing matches that initially you could have just won if you had a legendary troop or at least a double limit break on some of your heroes. Not that I'm complaining or anything, it's just the power creep is just there. It's just really hard to play at that level while not spending. It went up to a point where I think we were always talking about the new heroes that were coming out, and as you can see from the hero roster that I have here, I do not have a single hero like that gives the effect like Pepper Flame. So Pepper Flame, Poffit, Star Walker. I do not have a single one of those heroes, and it's actually really, really hard to play without those kind of heroes. Especially when, with legendary troops, the idea is for you to go as fast as you can with those type of fast heroes. And Pepper Flame is like the best iteration for it, because you could essentially run 2 Pepper Flames with Costume Hathor, have Bard like Riz as your off color, and you basically can wipe a side with those double Pepper Flames in 6 tiles, essentially. And it was really hard facing those kind of defense. Like, I would see a lot of Gypsy Dangers war videos, the members from Gypsy Danger, and quite a lot of them, I do believe at least half of them, have the double Pepper Flame combination, which basically ensures you get at least one shot. It basically confirms that one shot. And these are Gypsy Danger has players. I mean, being in the top 3, you do have players who have multiples of those kind of teams, and it was really, really hard to just try and keep up, especially when I have to basically innovate around average speed heroes to try and achieve the same results. So that was always a challenge, and not having the appropriate legendary troops meant my teams were just falling off harder and harder as the game increases, like as the game progresses. Yeah, so like, for example, and I think I can show my war team. So this is basically the leveling team that I have. I was pretty happy to get Miss Ethel from actually hero tokens from the latest challenge event. I was actually pretty happy. It was one of the last pulls that I had, and I will consider leveling her. I did get another Farah. I was hoping for Gastil, but managed to get a second Farah, which I will be leveling. It's actually in my fast track for leveling right now. I'm getting an Elkanon tune ready because I want to see whether or not I can use Costume Evelyn with one Fron and Elkanon to see how much damage I can deal. Xiaotu is just hedging in case I need a another Luna hero for Rush Wars going against Water Pipe or Dawn tanks. And then the third Guardian Gazelle I am trying to level. So that's basically the leveling, the heroes that I'm leveling right now. Now these heroes, obviously I'm not going to level, most of them are just going to be at 370 for now because I don't have enough materials for them. But Elkanon, for example, will be I will be maxing Elkanon and Farah next. So these two I do have materials for them. But the other three, Xiaotu, Gazelle, and Miss Ethel, I do not have the requisite materials for them just yet, so they're going to stay at 370 after this. But Elkanon and Farah should be the next ones. So basically, these are my current war teams that I'm using in pretty much about every single war. The journey heroes here now usually it will be something like Changi here instead of 9-headed beast, but not having Changi I had to improvise a little bit. It's a very steep drop down in terms of performance. Like I think Changi would be the best here just by how strong she is, and 9-headed beast because he's slow, it's actually really hard to get him to fire before the defense has too much of a head start after you're dumping tiles in order to try and get 10 tiles to fire 9-headed beast. But once he does fire though, he does reset Xie Zijing's poison, which is really good. It does keep up the dodge from Sha Wujing and essentially makes it such that you can try and outlast the damage that is coming from the defense. Waiting on a legendary troop for Smart Tongue as well. I think Smart Tongue is a really good addition here, especially when you're trying to deal with Nautica tanks. You're trying to restrict the amount of healing that she can do, then Smart Tongue is really good. Same thing with going against Costume Hathor or even Vaishali as well. So it's a pretty fun team. One that took me a while to practice and figure out the mechanics around this team. Obviously the focus was always in green, but I wouldn't mind getting purples first as well, just to get Xie Zijing going before I get my greens. So pretty fun war team here. This one is not a war team, this is something I was testing out. But the current war team for this would be this. So this is the current war team that I have. Erlang and Christine will get the troops. I kind of want to get another cleric fighter troop for Riz as well. That will make this team really good. Riz as a bard can really step up and still make things make Erlang and Christine fire at 7 tiles. So that's something to consider, and I'm hoping to get some legendary troops later on for Ariel and Krampus to make them at least survive a little bit longer. Right now Ariel dies regardless of what troop or what defense measures I can put in this team, how much overheal I can give from Riz. Ariel will die in one shot against the Satori, so I never bring this team against Satori. Just because Ariel and to a certain extent even Riz will get one-shotted by Satori if Satori fires. So I can never bring this team against Satori tanks or Satori flanks. So just as a point of consideration. The third team, now this, so initially this team, I am considering using N in this iteration as well. This is something that I'm testing as well. But I don't know. Maybe I'll use this for the upcoming Undead Horde Wars. If I'm not using this team, I'll probably use this team. I still need to get legendary troops for this, but this one will pretty much get things online. The other option for using this is obviously using Costume Finley as well. But with Costume Finley, the fact that Costume Finley isn't double limit broken yet, I am not considering just yet. But I still need to do further testing on this team before using them for war. So for this team, I did take out my raid team in order to do some testing, but essentially the team is something like this. This is the original team that I'll be using. So yeah, Cardinal and Brimstone being Fiend Makers. You have Krampus as a auto taunt and giving them attack up. Cardinal can steal whatever buffs that they have. And essentially, yeah, something like this would work really well. This team used to have Gazelle, but I realized that with testing, I think I can either choose between Thalassa or Costume Rigard, and they pretty much can function pretty well. So I'm actually quite happy with this team as well. So yeah, I do have a spare Gazelle then that I'm not using, but who knows. This team has been functioning really well, and I'm pretty happy with this iteration. Timaeus and Fizzcoil do help to balance out the offensive structure of this team. Dark Feathers, Nullfort and Nautica are pretty strong as a healer, as the kind of healers that you need to kind of sustain and outlast any defense. I've been testing this a lot against Nautica tanks, against Costume Hathor tanks, even against Vaishali as well. This team can function pretty well. So this is one of the mainstays, and as you can see, I am still waiting for legendary troops for Nautica, Timaeus and Fizzcoil, hoping to get them, in the coming months. This is the fifth team that I'm trying out as well. Odette, Milena, the second Fizzcoil, second Ray, and Gestalt, hoping to see if this team can actually function. I will bring this team for the next Undead Horde War. It'll be the first time I'm debuting this team, so hopefully it does a good debut. But it's actually pretty. It's a very interesting team because with Ray you have Dispel, with Milena you can cleanse, with Odette you make sure that none of them get hit by Zhe Jing, and then you can charge Milena to second charge. You have Gestalt and Fizzcoil to kind of deal the damage. Gestalt giving defense down, Fizzcoil giving Wither, so you can try and outlast any defense that has Dark Feather as well. So it's a very well all-rounder team, and once Odette is double limit broken, she will survive a bit longer, and I think I'll be very comfortable with how this team will function. The final team is a purple heavy team that I will swap out. I may swap out Nyx for the second Pharah once I get the second Pharah done. Ithar is just there to kind of steal those taunts or certain ailments that stop Nyx and Pharah from giving ailments. So that's the idea that I'm trying to do with this team. It's actually doing pretty well in raids as well. Just one more troop required. Well, actually three if you're looking at it. No, 4 if you're looking at it. So Nyx, Pharah, Narcissa and Ithar requires their own legendary troops. Right now they are not class appropriate troops, but they still can function, and this is where I'm basically at. Now obviously rush teams will be a little bit different. Currently the next war coming up is Rush Wars, but Rush Wars we definitely do take a different dynamic on it. But these are basically the main teams that I've been running with, and I've been pretty happy with as of now. Sometimes I do swap out because I do have Gazelle, the second Gazelle ready to try and introduce different teams to this. If let's say, for example, this yellow team doesn't work out, then there's always an option to bring the second Gazelle together with something like the double Gilux, or even with Fron, Evelyn, and maybe another green hitter as well. So there's always an option. So basically that's my current roster right now. As I mentioned, 152 maxed, but I'm only pretty much using like the top 40 to 50 heroes on a rotation basis. And with 33 of them double limit break, it is considered on the lower end, especially when you're looking at the top 20 teams. I think by now, I think the top 20 players in all alliances would have about 50 to 60 double limit broken heroes, especially to maintain at those kind of levels. So yeah, that's basically the roster update that I have right now. I will do one later on. It wouldn't be for the next 2 months at least. I'm gonna see how long I can maintain without overspending or just spending on a whim. The main priority will obviously be on legendary troops if I can get them, but other than that, it'll be also focusing on just finding new ideas for teams and deciding from there how we want to play things. We still have, like, in the war teams, Gilux. The double Gilux are not being used. Ferris is not being used, although despite Ferris being really strong. I do want to bring back Black Knight to be used as well. Same with Luna. I need to find a way to put Luna in the team as well. And then Phantom of the Opera. I think the next priority would be Phantom of the Opera. There is a way you can use Phantom of the Opera to counter the current meta right now. But yeah, remains to be seen how well we can do things. Also, not to sleep on, the Hero of the Months having this passive as well. Dispel on special skill and Cleansing on special skill. These are really, really strong heroes that I have in my roster that I really want to consider using a little bit more. Just need to find the right team combination for that. So yeah, that's basically my roster. It's nothing much. Not as not as attractive as most of the other players. I do need to double limit break Rigard as well if I'm planning to use him more often. I'm currently using the boost health side of things, but once the once the toon version comes out, I may use the toon version instead of this version. I might use the toon version instead, but who knows. Let's see how things goes. So that is a short video on my roster. I do have like a 370 Qinglong just waiting there. I'm still not convinced that I need to max him out yet. And then the rest of it, I think I don't have any other 370s worth talking about. Bera's one. I am considering Bera as well, just because of how strong she would be in terms of having a legendary troop on her. Water pipe as well, waiting for materials. Hachiko is an interesting one. Haven't decided if I want to bring him up to max. Xiong, Shanjun, and Sekhmet are two options as well that I'm considering, but not so much on Sekhmet, probably on Xiong. But I do have other purples to work with. Farah, the second Farah, for example. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So yeah, thought I would just do a random update of where my roster is right now, and hope you guys enjoy this. Let me know what you think about these kind of videos, if you want to see more of it, or if you want to see me brainstorm on what other offense teams that I can do against the current meta. Let me know if you like to see those kind of videos. I'll catch you on the next one. GG.